Anthony.
Here.
Wayne Prescott.
Here.
All members are present.
7:07, all members present. We have a quorum to continue this meeting. New business tonight is to open up the public hearing first. I would ask if Mr. Christensen would like to give a brief presentation, and then we will open up for questions afterwards.
Sure.
My name is Christian Loranger. Are we using this, or?
Yes.
You don't have to bend out.
Okay, sorry. My name is Christian Loranger from NBD Solar Maine. Thank you all for having us in tonight. We appreciate your time. We are here for a special permit for a 4.990 AC ground-mounted solar array located here in Waterboro. And we are looking to have a vote on this particular permit. The project is made up of just under 18,000 solar panels, and they are supported on tables held up by 4 screws per table. The screws are approximately 4 inches in diameter. They are screwed down into the ground about 6 feet, so we're below the frost line. And this 4 screws support between 30 and 36 panels per table on average. The racking is fixed. In other words, it does not tilt and track the sun. It is a fixed angle at 20 degrees facing due south. The tables and panels are rated for 170 mile an hour wind speed, which hopefully we don't get. That has been raised up from the previous, which was 120 mile an hour a couple of years ago. There's approximately 14 feet between each row of panels, plenty of room to drive a vehicle up and down. You can reach every panel via vehicle. We do a lot of this with, a lot of the maintenance is done with pickup trucks and such. There is fire access to both transformers. We will provide a Knox box on the fence for the fire department to have access into the project. There are several shut-offs to the project located at the street through a recloser, which the fire department will certainly have access to. We can also remotely monitor the project and shut the power off remotely, as well as CMP can do the same. We create a little bit about the system. The power is created in DC. It is then combined in a number of wires running down the tables and racks to where we combine all the wires together into underground conduits. They reach 2 separate inverters, 2 separate locations with an inverter where that power is changed from DC into AC. It is then stepped up through a transformer, 2 separate transformers, into the line voltage and fed through a single interconnection into the street power at 12,740 volts. A little bit about the site. We will plant grass seed at the end of construction. These projects do turn into fields very quickly, both within the rows and under the tables. The grass will be maintained via physical mowing, weed whackers under the tables, tractor and mowers in the rows. We do not use any herbicides, no pesticides. We do not wash our panels at all here in the Northeast, so we don't use any cleaners or anything of that nature. The entire project is surrounded by a 7-foot tall fence. There is no barbed wire at the top of the fence. That's a very frequently asked question. I'm not really sure why, but there is no barbed wire at the top of the fence. The fence is held up approximately 6 to 8 inches off of the ground so that the animals can get in and out freely. We also do have deer that will squeeze under there. We do not use a bottom rail on the fence, so it's got a little bit more flexibility to get under there. It's really not to keep people out, it's just to keep a contained situation, if you will. We feel as though these projects are very financially advantageous to the town in that we ask for no services from the town. We have no heavy vehicles other than through construction. with dropping off materials. There's nothing driving on the roads. We are not educating any kids using any emergency services or anything of that nature. A good rule of thumb that we use is for a single-family home, the value has to be around $500,000 for the sale of that home just to take care of educating 2 children from that household. On our side, we feel as though using no services, it's a total financial win for the town. As far as the win for the town goes in the taxation of this project, we usually advocate for a pilot program or a payment in lieu of taxes. And basically what we find that does is, rather than having a heavy amortization in the beginning and have the asset depreciate out through the next 20 to 25 years, whereas you really won't be able to count on the taxation from that project, we do a negotiation for a pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes, where you get an equal payment all the way through the next 20 or 25 years, so it's money that you can count on. Another nice thing about these projects is that it's a guaranteed income stream for the project, and they are looked at 19 different ways financially. So it's not like we're building this project and it could go out of business. We have a guaranteed purchase price from CMP for the next 20, 25 years so that you know that you'll be getting your tax revenues. At the end of the project's useful life, I imagine that it will be repowered unless there is a better green energy source that comes out sometime in the future. Should this ever come to an end, cold fusion comes out, something or other, and the project comes to an end, the project would be dismantled and taken away. To ensure that that happens, we post a decommissioning bond with the town. Sean, have they already received it?
Yes.
So you've already received a breakdown, every nut, bolt, screw, piece of equipment, and man-hour it takes to break this down. We also put a cost of living increaser on that bond year in, year out, which is 2%, 3%?
It's about 2%.
About 2% to keep up with the cost of inflation, so that you know you have the money to remove it should we not be able to do that sometime down the road, which will never happen. We remote monitor these projects, like I said, consistently. Other than a truck coming out every couple of weeks to monitor it in person, there is no activity on the site, very similar to a graveyard. With that being said, I will take it. Go from there.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that would like to speak that's in the room?
John? Good.
I'm good. I think I asked all my questions at the last meeting. I don't know if you know about a timeline.
So we're getting pretty, Dawn asked about a timeline. Do you want him to come up and ask?
The timeline on
On the construction.
building it?
Yeah.
So we're getting pretty close to the end of the building season here, and by the time we go through the appeals process, things of that nature, and get everything wrapped up, it won't be till the spring. But we would be doing both projects concurrently.
How long does it actually take to complete the field?
We can do it in about 3.5, 4 months. Yep. So it's a lot of trucks in the beginning dropping the materials off, and a lot is relative, probably around 60 trucks of material, and everything goes together very, very quickly.
Does anyone else in the room have any other questions for Christian?
I heard you mention Don Holden,
Yes, thank you.
105 Straw Mill Brook Road. I heard you mention there's 18,000 panels in this project. Is that just one project or both projects?
That's one project.
Just one. So the one down by me is like 18,000, and this one here is similar to?
That's correct.
That's a lot of panels.
A lot of panels.
Now, the other question I have is that I watch and read a lot of the technology channels, and it seems like every month they have a way to measure a panel's output, a standard that they have. And it seems like every month another company is coming forward and has broken the barrier to a panel that produces more electricity. And it's moving so fast the panels that you bring in, you know, it almost appears that it would be obsolete in 5 years down the road, or 10 years down the road. Is there any plan that you would come in and swap out panels if technology said that it was worth doing?
So, Donna, I love your questions. You don't disappoint, and this is a good one. So you're right. So it's like processing power on a computer, whereas it's an exponential curve. As time goes on, they get much more powerful. So they're getting more and more power out of this 3x5 panel. And what I thought, a year ago, 2 years ago, what we used, we're 25% more out of the same panel now. So you have to balance that off with cost. But this project and these materials, all right, are amortized on our business and business model and borrowing schedule for 20 years. So just because something comes along that's better, I got to make sure these are paid off. And these will do the job for the next 20 or 25 years before they degrade enough. With that being said, if 15 years, 10, 12 years comes out and there's something that is so much better, maybe it's picking up, we do put out a slight amount of power at night, maybe they're doing something like that. At that point it could be replaced, but there would have to be such a financial advantage to it because you wouldn't be done paying these panels off. So this really is amortized over that 20 years, this whole project, panels and all. And those new panels that come out, there is a steep curve on the cost per as well. So it does get expensive. Yeah. Great question.
Are there any other questions from the people in the room? Are there any questions for the people on the line or who have called in?
Mr. Watson, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you.
Sir, could you state your name for the record and then ask your question, please?
Yes, David Watson. I live on Loranger Road, better to the proposed solar farm, 36 acres. Obviously, the property has been cut. I believe it was about 12 years ago. So it looks bad, but it is not. It is certainly a great place for deer and wildlife to live. Build lot. I want to know what a solar panel farm is going to do to the price of my home. Is it going to raise it, or is it going to lower it?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Watson. Can you hear me okay? Yep. So two things. Number one, as far as deer and animals go, there's still a ton of space in there. There is a fence around the property. I'm on a solar project every day, and there are always a lot of animals out there. It's good grazing, and they can find a way in. We have a lot of deer that get inside that fence. Either they go under or they jump over the top. They either go under or they go over the top, but they find a way in. So as far as animals go and things of that nature, will it be as much as is out there now? I can't state that. But we do see a lot of wildlife within the solar projects themselves. As far as your house value goes, we have a report from a realtor that we used locally that's done some research for us, and they say that there is absolutely no change abutting a solar project. I just finished up a project down in Massachusetts a couple of years ago in Lakeville. And this was right along a main street, broadside to the street where you would see the whole project. We sold the house lots across the street, anywhere from $1 million to $600,000 for the homes. and had no decrease in the property value. And these houses were looking directly across the street right at the solar project. This was not hidden behind the woods or anything of that nature. So I have seen no degradation in anybody's real estate values, and we've got to back up with that from a local realtor as well, sir.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Sure.
We have wetlands in a book, and I'm on one side, you're on the other. What is the proposal as far as the fencing is concerned, so that it doesn't interfere with that?
Right, so we have sent this project through Maine DEP as well as Maine Wildlife for all of the water characteristics. But I have Sean Toby, who's our engineer from our site engineering firm. Maybe Sean, you'd like to take this one?
Yeah, so what we did is, when we first got started on the project, we had a certified wetland scientist flag and identify all the wetlands and stream on site. And then we stayed completely out of the required 75-foot buffer, and then we pulled the fence itself probably another 20 feet out of that buffer. So any of the fencing is going to be about 95 feet away from the wetlands. So there won't be any disturbances to that. The only disturbances to the stream will just be where the culvert crosses it, but other than that, we kept everything to an absolute minimum. And then it'll just remain vegetation within that 75 to 95 feet. It'll all just be either trees, shrubs, or grass.
Thank you.
I have a question. You could state your name and then ask your question, please.
Name is Devin Chamberlain, and I have a question, and I actually like to direct it towards you, Mr. Zelmanov, because David asked an excellent question about property values, and your first comment was not relevant. Now, I think it is relevant. I understand the tax benefit to the town here, but if you're losing people because they're feeling that their property values are going down because of a project, that is quite relevant. And as a member of a planning board, that's important to be keeping in mind. So what would you consider a relevant question?
Anything that would pertain to the land use code and rules, which is what governs our decision-making process. So unless somebody can point to any particular code stating that the decrease or increase of property values is a factor for us to consider, we can't consider it.
Chair?
Yes, Dwayne?
I disagree with that. We do have a clause that says that we can turn down any project that is a financial detriment to this community.
That's not the same.
How is not?
For the record, thank you to the young gentleman who spoke up, and to Mr. Prescott. You're absolutely right. I have every right to ask that question as an abutter, what the property value is going to be. And your comment was totally disrespectful.
Well, I'm sorry you think it was disrespectful, but it's, who can tell? Who knows what's the property values are going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And what
That's why you asked the
impact this
question.
project is going to have.
That's why it's relevant.
I'm sorry, I left my crystal ball at home, but
No,
I
no,
can't
no,
look.
please, gentlemen, please, please. Yes, Dwayne?
Thank you. Would it be possible to get a quick study done for Mr.
So
Watson?
we have it right here. We're going to pull that right up for him.
Dave, Dave, you want to give up your email? We have a gentleman here. Is that a local study?
It is, sir. This is my general manager, Sean Meehan. He'd be happy to send that study right over to you, sir.
Absolutely, that'd be fantastic.
Yep. And I will say, at the end of the day, I'm a Christian man, so I'm not out to blow up anybody's housing or anything like that. If I thought it was going to be a detriment, it would be a non-starter. I think I'm doing some good. I think the projects that we're doing do some good. I think it's good for the community. I think we're far enough away from everybody's house there, we've got enough of a buffer there, that it's still a good project. I really don't think, honestly, that it interferes with anybody's home or lifestyle or anything else. I think it's a really good neighbor as to some of the alternatives that you could have. With that being said, I know you want the facts, and we did have a study done to show you that, if you're next to a solar project, it doesn't decrease the value of your house. So I think whatever track we're on for real estate prices at this point, whether they're going to go up or not from here, you're going to be right in line with as if there was never a solar project put there, sir. But we'll send you the report just the same. And if you'd like to furnish us with the email, Sean can send it right to you. If you want to do that off to the side, or he's got it already.
Yeah, I think I just gave it to you, but
Yep.
thank you for your answer.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Yeah? I guess the only question would be is how much time they would need to really take a look at that to feel comfortable
Sure.
without,
Depends on how good Sean here is at sending emails.
I guess Sean's gonna get that out to you pretty quick can you look at it now?
That would be great.
This is not a long.
To be honest, I know multiple people in the real estate field that will certainly help me with what this has to say.
So my question is, how much time would you need to feel comfortable about this?
3 days, I'll be good. I'll have answers.
3 days?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right.
Is there anyone else, Angela, online that would like to ask a question?
I don't know who the steel grade is, and they don't have the camera on.
Actually, Steel Grave is a close neighbor of mine on Roberts Ridge. I can vouch for them if you'd like.
We just don't know if they have any questions or want to address the board.
Steel Grave Land Use, if you'd like to.
Nothing?
Okay.
Are there any follow-up questions within the room? Is still no one out in the hallway?
No, we've got everybody in here.
Everybody's in. With that said, I will close the public hearing.
Need a motion?
Oh, I need a motion, sorry.
I'll motion.
Dwayne has made a motion to close the public hearing. May I have a second? Michael has seconded that motion. Angela, when you are done writing, would you do a roll call vote for me, please?
Deborah Burrows,
Yes.
Kayla Goddard,
Yes.
David Christensen,
Yes.
Dwayne Prescott,
Yes.
Lori Anthony,
Yes.
Michael Provencher,
Yes.
Edward Zilmer.
Yes.
That's 7 of 7. The public hearing is now closed. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, and we're going to continue on with our site plan reviews. First order of business, though. Is everybody going to say? Yep, okay. First order of business, we had something tabled. So I would like a motion to take that application off the table so we may continue to address it.
Motion.
So moved.
David.
He just so moved it.
You are seconding it, David?
A second, sure.
First, second, eight.
Dwayne made the motion, David seconded it. That item is now off the table and can be reviewed. Is there?
We need a vote.
Yeah. Angela, if you would do a roll call vote?
Deborah Burrows,
Well, so I didn't catch what we were voting on now, just to give it,
continue the discussion on Main Street.
Yes.
Kayla Goddard,
yes.
David Christensen,
Yes.
Dwayne Prescott,
Yes.
Lori Anthony,
Yes.
Michael Provencher,
Yes.
Edward Zelmanoff.
Yes.
So that item is now off the table and may be addressed in our review of the application.
Correct, yes, you'd want to continue any deliberations you have on the Main Street site, any issues, and what you would like to do from that point.
On the planning board side of it, does...
Dave has a...
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to ask if anybody had any questions or comments. David, go ahead.
I think we have thoroughly discussed this, and I would make a motion that we approve the submitted plan for MBD Solar at 7119 Maine, and move this on.
A motion has been made. Was there any conditions you wanted to place on this? We have a list of suggested conditions.
I would include the conditions that were laid out in Luce's memo of after our last meeting.
I actually would like to review those.
Yeah, a couple of those can actually be taken off from your recommendation because they've been addressed by the applicant since then. Condition 2, if the use of chemicals is required in the cleaning of the solar arrays, the applicant must first come back to the planning board. They put a statement on their plans, their revised plans, that indicate that no use of chemicals, period. Number 3, no pesticides or herbicides shall be used on the site for vegetation control. They have placed a note on the plan that states that as well. And number 6, the applicant shall provide a revised landscape buffer plan, which they had done, and you had received in your previous packet as well. So the conditions that would apply would be 1, 4, 5, 7. 1, 4, 5, and 7 for the Main Street site. And I'd be happy to read those if you would like.
If you would, please, for the record.
So if I don't lose my voice.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see, starts out as a statement, but number 1 is, based on the information with the decommissioning plan as submitted by the applicant, a surety instrument be provided to the town of Waterboro, which names the town as the entity able to call in or collect on the non-performance of the work proposed. The surety shall be placed in a non-interest-bearing account and held for the life of the project. This must be submitted and approved by the town prior to the release of any permits on this project. NBD Solar Maine LLC shall provide formal training to the Waterboro Fire Department on safety and operational procedures in the event of an emergency response to the facility for fire, electrocution, and/or other common issues at a solar facility. Number 5 is any gates on the property and buildings excuse me, requiring fire department access in an emergency shall have Knox box padlocks and/or a Knox box with marked keys inside the box. Number 7, all new trees for the buffering plan shall carry a 4-year guarantee. If the trees fail to take growth within the period of time, they shall be replaced by the solar farm owners. And that's it on this project.
Everybody heard the conditions? Gary, would you like to ask a question?
The clarification for staff and down the road, if we could specifically everybody understand what that bond covers, since we don't have a whole lot of infrastructure in this project.
That bond covers, which is in the file and in your packet, was provided by the applicant, the construction, let's see, task 1, unclip, unplug, and remove panels and rack wiring. Disassemble the racks, load racks with truck, bobcat, and laborer, remove and load electrical equipment, remove cable with laborer and backhoe, break up and load concrete pads, remove rack screws using laborer and excavator, remove utility pole, remove and load fence, fine grade and seed site with grader and laborer, truck to landfill, crushed concrete landfill cover material. There is a 1.25 or 25% contingency in there, and an inflation rate of 2% per year for 20 years. And that bond, that total construction, total amount is $201,835.86.
I thought it was 3% here.
No, it's 2%.
Okay.
3% is usually what us public officials get for it.
Is the, ma'am,
Yes.
is the bond gonna be for that amount, or are we gonna, take we usually 125 on financial guarantees, 125%? What's the amount that the bond gonna be?
That would be up to you. The full amount would be $201,000. That includes the 25% contingency on that, and the increase over the life of the bond. Or you could suggest, a portion of that, whatever you choose to do.
Well, I know it's rule with our other ordinances, when it comes to financial
It's
guarantees, we go to
125%.
yeah.
Correct, so that would be the $201,835.
That would be my recommendation, to send to the Board of Selectmen,
That's,
let them take a look at it, see if it's right. These guys have been going at it for years, so.
if it's agreeable to the planning board as part of the conditions, that's what it is.
Anybody have any further discussion or questions or comments? No?
Oh, please, I'm sorry.
Yes, Dwayne?
BJ, as I recall, I read that in the end, when the saw goes away, they're gonna put down grass seed.
Yes.
It was my understanding that most bonds have a clause in there that says something to the effect of restored to previous condition.
That's what this bond includes, yes.
Okay, so it's gonna be in the bond. It wasn't in
Correct.
the pricing on that, didn't include trees or anything, just include.
Fine grade and seed the site.
Yeah.
$2,400 and $24.
Right, just seed the site.
Fine grade and seed the site, which with a grader and a laborer.
Right, what I'm saying is, most bonds, they have that clause that says, because right now it's not a grass field.
You're talking about like the clause that has been recommended for if the grass seed doesn't take and they need to...
No, it was just, it was brought to my attention that, 20 years from now, we don't know what's going to be sitting on this board or what the town's going to want.
Right.
And what all that's going to require is it's going to be a grass field.
Right.
But right now, there's trees out there. So, somebody said almost all bonds carry that clause to restore to previous condition, which I think leaves the door open for whoever's sitting on the planning board to pick and choose a little more than a grass field.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear who you got that recommendation from, simply because once that site's fallow again, unless someone else comes along and develops it, trees, scrub brush, and whatever else is out there now will come back as well. It's not like someone's going to maintain it as a manicured lawn. They're going to seed it, but 5 years after that, you're going to start seeing natural growth coming back to that site. Unless someone else comes along and
It's not
wants to
good,
do
it
something
was just
else.
somebody said that they always carry that clause on most bonds,
Right.
so.
Yeah, let's just get rid of the equipment. Anything else? Dwayne? Anything else from my Zoom members? I don't see anything.
Did you have more to report out?
No, not on that one.
May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I believe there's already a motion on the
There
table.
is.
Oh,
Motion and a second.
well, I didn't have a second.
I thought he was just waving at us.
Yeah. No, I know David,
So you do need a second.
I need a
so you don't have the
second.
motion.
I'll second it.
Ed has seconded it. So.
There you go.
No, I didn't do the seconds. Angela, if you would please proceed with roll call vote.
Deb Burrows,
Yes.
Kayla Goddard,
Yes.
David Christensen,
Yes.
Dwayne Prescott,
Yes.
Lori Anthony,
Yes.
Michael Provencher,
Yes.
Edward Zelman.
Yes.
And application is approved with...
Your application on Main Street is approved.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Oh, good. Wrong area.
Okay, so next on our business is to review, discuss, and possibly approve the Sokokis trail site.
That would be correct.
Is there anyone that has question, comment, or any discussion on this site?
Chair?
Yes, Glenn?
Thank you. To help Mr. Watson feel a little better about this, can we put a, I don't know what, maybe DJ help me out with the term.
Yep.
Where we can pass it, but give him a little bit of time, get his feedback. I'd feel much better if he came back and said, I'm good, and spoke to the Realtor. What can we do to help this guy out, give him some leeway?
Well, so what the board would have for choices based on that would be to table action on that application tonight. Or the reason being is if you approve it, and you could, there really isn't any recourse for Mr. Watson at that point unless it comes back. He comes back with wanting to appeal the approval within 30 days from tonight, which he could appeal to the Zoning Board of Appeals if he doesn't feel that that the information is accurate or that he was being treated fairly, if you will.
Okay.
So those are really the two options that exist for this.
All right. I'd hate to have one of our residents, this guy's a lifer, have to pay the $350 or whatever it is to go to the ZBA. I'm just gonna throw this out there. How's the board feel about maybe coming back on Monday? We'll give Dave until Monday, and then we'll come back, and if we don't hear from him, or he gives us a green light, and we'll come back and then take the vote.
So you'd want to hold a special meeting?
Yeah, I don't want to table it off for 2 weeks.
Just a point of clarification, what are we waiting to hear back about?
A guy who, this project is creeping up right in his backyard.
Right.
And I'd like to make sure he's comfortable with knowing what his property value is going to do. He just asked us for a little bit of common courtesy.
Fine. Did he attend the site walk this evening?
No.
Was he there?
Hang on.
Hey, Dave.
Hold on.
Well,
David, did you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to note that we already had a conversation with one of the abutters that wanted to get real estate input in terms of property valuation impact. And I frankly suggest, given the nature of the timing we're here, if I understood correctly, a lot of this work is not going to be even initiated until spring, but we table this for 2 weeks till our next meeting.
So you're in favor of tabling this for 2 weeks, David?
I would table it to, in fact, I would make a motion to the effect of tabling it until our next meeting.
I'll second that.
no discussion on the tabling, so.
What? Oh, on table motion now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
You say no discussion on a table?
No discussion on tabling, so if David made a motion to table and you seconded it, then the board has to vote on it. Well, the board has to vote on it.
Okay, we get to vote for tabling this to our next meeting. Angela, if you would please do the honors.
Deborah Burrows,
Yes.
Kayla Goddard, Kayla,
Sorry, yes.
Dwayne Prescott,
Yes.
Lori Anthony,
No.
Michael Provencher,
No.
Edward Zilmanow.
No.
Dave Christensen,
Dave
yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
4-3.
4-3, it was tabled until, for 2 weeks.
Madam
next-
Chair,
the next meeting.
if I can ask that, since it's being tabled and there is time, if we could ask the town attorney for an opinion as to whether the positive or negative effect on real estate values is a factor that this board can take into consideration on a plan.
That,
And you-
I want Lee J to be here for this.
Yeah, just for clarification, Ed, can you just restate that for me?
Yeah, yep, I've got a couple of things, so, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll frame it. It's a request from the chair that since we're tabling this,
Yes.
that I would like to ask the town attorney to give us their opinion as to whether a positive or negative impact on property values is a consideration or a factor that this board can consider in determining whether an application should be approved or not.
So, I've got a couple of things for you.
Unless they've done it, unless they've provided that type of opinion in the past, because I've seen those opinions before.
So I guess I got a couple of things on that for you. I guess one of the things is, I don't see this gentleman as a direct abutter to this site. So I'm not sure where he is in relation to the site and how this site's going to impact him. He's not listed as a direct abutter. So I'm not sure what kind of standing he would have even if he appealed it, because he's not an abutter. So I'm going to raise that because he's not listed here. Is anybody abutting the site? Relevant to your other question, we can certainly seek counsel from Natalie, but I can read you, if my voice would hold up, I can read you all the standards under site plan review that you folks use for making a determination of a project. And then you can decide how that fits in. There's 15 standards that you guys use as part of the findings of fact for the project. And they start with the proposed development meets the definition and/or requirements set forth in the zoning ordinance. We've already determined that. The proposed development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or to the building on the site for emergency vehicles or adequate fire suppression systems. The proposed exterior lighting will not create hazards to motorists traveling on adjacent public streets by being inadequate for the safety of occupants or users of the site, will damage the value and diminish the usability of adjacent properties. The provisions for buffers and on-site landscape provides adequate protection to neighbors' properties from detrimental features of the development. The proposed development will not have a significant detrimental effect on the use and peaceful enjoyment of abutting property as a result of noise, vibration, fumes, odor, dust, glare, and other causes. The provisions for vehicular loading and unloading and parking and for vehicular and pedestrian circulation on the site and onto adjacent public streets will not create hazards to safety or will not impose significant burdens on public facilities which could be avoided by reasonable modification of the plan. The bulk, location, height, or design of proposed buildings, structures, or paved areas, or the proposed use thereof will not have a significant detrimental effect on private development on adjacent properties or on the value of adjacent properties, which could be avoided by reasonable modifications to the plan. The design of the site will not result in significant flood hazards or flood damage and is in conformance with applicable flood hazard protection requirements. Adequate provisions have been made for the disposal of wastewater or solid waste for the prevention of ground or surface water contamination. Adequate provisions have been made to control erosion or sedimentation. Adequate provisions have been made to handle stormwater runoff or other drainage problems on the site, and any proposed stormwater detention ponds are adequate to serve stormwater on or from the site. The proposed water supply will meet the demands of the proposed use and is adequate for fire protection purposes. Adequate provisions have been made for the transportation, storage, and disposal of hazardous substances and materials as defined by state law and the hazardous waste ordinance. The proposed use will not have an adverse impact on significant scenic vistas or significant wildlife habitat which could be avoided by reasonable modification of the plan. And the project will not increase nitrogen concentration in surface or groundwater at the property line of the site in excess of the state drinking water standards. If groundwater contains contaminants in excess of primary drinking water standards and project is to be served on by on-site groundwater supplies, the applicant shall demonstrate how water quality will be improved or treated to meet applicable standards. Those are your findings that you would.
David?
I'd like to just sort of clarify my reasons for the motion to table. It was strictly focused on the fact we had a presentation from someone who spoke to the developer in the course of our meeting that questioned the impacts on property values. He said he needed a couple of days to get local real estate property value, and we agreed with that. So I think that whether we consider that as a significant item in our deliberations or not, we already made a commitment to hear what he wanted to offer. And rather than have a special meeting, I believe that we should simply table this until our next regularly scheduled meeting as the motion described, and then we can move forward in accordance with our requirements.
Angela?
Gary and I just checked. He is in a butter at an intersection.
Oh, he is?
So, yes.
It's not
No,
noted on here.
he is in a butter at,
Comes to a point, he has no
it comes to a
frontage.
point, maybe, it's not shown on this one for whatever reason, but he is in a butter at a point like right about in here.
With this property or this
Yeah,
property?
I'll go get,
843B?
no, it's
C.
843C.
That's not even shown on here.
It might be because he has no frontage. That's the point.
This is still on the print somewhere.
So he's got 43E, D, and C. And this is their property, and he abuts right here at this point, right up against them.
Again, in this plan, this needs to be updated to reflect that, because it's not on here. 843 is on here, but 43, but none of the E, D, C, or 42, 42 is on here. Oh, I see what they did. 843 is shown as multiple properties
Yeah.
on
Where
one
they're
parcel.
Yeah, where they're actually divided out.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to just speak to that. Looking at the GIS, if you zoom right in there on that corner, there's an additional piece of 42 that extends to the property. So I guess we'd have to look into it further, but according to the GIS, he's not the direct abutter by about 5 or 10 feet.
Sean, when you guys were doing these, I got a sneaking suspicion you might have gotten hung up in the changeover from our old GIS to our new GIS.
Okay.
I can look real quick. I'm thinking our new GIS will reflect the most current corrected tax maps. I mean, that lot's been there for quite some time, but I'm thinking it was missing out of the original GIS.
Okay, we can look into that.
Right in here. Where is it about here?
Well, we gotta update the maps, but it's irrelevant to our meeting.
A vote on these plans,
It
it would be down in
Because
here.
we're showing
So you've
one
got
parcel. But I think
a couple more that, it's like right in here that he intersects at.
See, it's one of these properties,
Yep.
and there's a property line goes in.
So we are, I know I can't talk to you, but we've got 15, maybe even this version, 75, 75 foot buffer, so he's got,
Yeah.
like 200 feet or something. But we'll get it updated and we'll get it kind of specific to his property.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So what I've asked the applicant to do is to update the plan appropriately, and they will have the real estate assessment done specifically for his property, once they get that identified.
By a local realtor?
Yes, yes.
Nice, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so you had a motion to table, you had a second to table?
It's tabled.
You
It
tabled.
will be tabled until the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to ask, so when you, just so I'm clear, when you, the way that you were explaining the bond, so we put a 25% kicker on there already.
Okay.
Do you usually go with the 20, so we put a 25% on there already, so we're kind of already above the 25% on top. At the 125, we include it because usually you guys ask for it.
All right, so you're worried now, we're gonna do 125, and you're already kicking in 25.
We've already done, we're already at the
Just kick it
125.
up so it gets to the 125.
We try and do it because we know you guys are going to ask for it, so we're already there.
Yeah,
All right,
we're good with that.
you got it.
We've already there plus because they added the 2% per year.
2%, yeah.
I want 5.
That's the story of my life.
Sorry, you've already taken the discussion.
Hey, I got a question from David. David, go ahead.
Can we, this is to DJ, can we expect by the next meeting we'll have a summary of conditions that you suggest be attached to the 41 Sokokis Trail project?
Of course, the generous side of me says, of course you will. The working side of me says, oh my God, how am I going to get this done? I'm swamped. But yeah, you'll get something. Yeah.
Okay, because that's necessary for us to vote as well. Thank you.
Correct. Yeah.
Question. Were there conditions that were discussed this evening at the sidewalk that we had similar to the previous sidewalk?
So, well, we shouldn't even, the application has been done.
We're not even supposed to be talking about this right now.
Yeah.
So, it's been tabled, no discussion. Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
your presentations, and we will,
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the approval. We will be sending an updated plan.
yes, if you will get those.
Yep, there's an updated plan coming.
And, you know, the promise of the real estate firm.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Just us?
Only subject.
You just have to finish the rest of it.
But they'll be in the...
These will go into the findings of facts for this project that will go to the registry.
Okay. We still have a few other things. Actually, we don't, but we're going to go through the agenda. Under minutes, we do not have any minutes to approve tonight. Are there any communications that anyone needs to address?
No, the only one you guys had gotten, that came into me yesterday was from, Mr. Allen, regarding 41 Sokokis Trail that I forwarded to you guys right off. So other than that, there's been
Yeah.
Nothing. I got an email requesting the Zoom link, which went straight to Dave so that they could come in.
Okay.
And that was it.
Miscellaneous, nothing from you, EJ?
Nope, I'm good.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? And Dwayne is on top of it.
Okay.
May I have a second? Ed is seconding that motion. Angela, if you would please do roll call vote.
Deborah Burrows,
Yes.
Kayla Goddard,
Yes.
David Christensen,
Yes.
Dwayne Prescott,
Yes.
Lori Anthony,
Yes.
Michael Clevenger,
Yes.
Edward Zelmanoff.
Yes.
The vote is 7-0. This meeting has been adjourned at 7:30.